Okay, so I've been getting quite a few questions about the Lego Orient Express set. Will I be getting it? Will I be covering it? I've been getting comments on my YouTube videos, DMs on social media. I was asked about it in Discord. It was even brought up on the Afool Podcast.
Time for more power, Brian. The challenge is on to you to power up that Orient Express.
If you haven't heard of the Afool Podcast before, that stands for A Fan of Old Lego. They release a show every other week on Brick Train's channel. I've been on twice as a guest, once as a guest host, and once to offer Discord technical support. And I'd be glad to go on the podcast again sometime in the future.
We are welcoming Brian back as soon as he fixes the Orient Express.
Wait, so now I have to get the set?
There you go, Brian. You get that Polar Express all lined out.
I have to motorize the Polar Express too? This deal's getting worse all the time. Okay, so with any hobby, you're going to run into three limitations: time, money, and space. It's rare to have two of these line up at the same time, much less all three. So for space, I do have a lot more space than I used to. I moved about 2.5 years ago into a bigger place and have a good bit more space than I used to. But still, space is a limitation. My living room, thankfully, is just big enough to build the largest 9-volt Lego train layout from the catalog. So that was really great that it was just big enough to build that. But I'm also running into limitations trying to store all of my rolling stock. It's getting a little crazy. I might even end up getting rid of some or parting them out into my collection to build other things. Another thing about the Orient Express train is that it's an 8-wide train, where everything else in my collection is 6-wide. So it just doesn't seem like it would fit with everything else. And a big factor in all this, it's price. It's a $300 set. If I were to purchase the Lego Orient Express train, that would be the most expensive Lego set I've ever bought in my entire life. I even ordered the 51515 Robot Inventor set, and I got that when it was discounted under $300, and I used VIP points to get a discount on that as well. And I do have some VIP points saved up at this time, but it's not much at all. Typically, my purchases directly from Lego are getting a pick-a-brick cup or two a week from the store. And that's generally about it. I haven't really purchased much new Lego. So you're not going to look behind me and see a Titanic build in the background or anything like that. And nothing against people who want to buy sets like that. It's just, for me, that's how I apportion my funds. I would rather buy obscure 4.5 volt touch sensors to build control panels in massive quantities, or build trains that are just entirely too long. That's how I would rather spend my money than saving up for a month or two to buy one single giant set. And I think there is a little bit of misconception about someone on YouTube. Oh, you must get a lot of money. And I can dispel that myth right now. So far, I haven't done any sponsored content, and that seems to be probably the primary source of income for a lot of YouTubers. I've had many offers. I've turned them all down so far. I even had Whatnot reach out, which was crazy to me. I can't imagine a worse fit for them than myself.
And these guys are masters at hyping up garbage.
And ad revenue on YouTube, it's not what people think it is. I think people think you get 1,000 subscribers and you hit your watch time hours, you hit the button and they just start depositing money into your bank account. And that's not entirely true. You have to meet a threshold, and then you're paid monthly on a schedule. Full transparency, last month I didn't meet the minimum to get a payout, but I've more than made up for that now that the Merce Train videos went out and did really well. And you don't lose that money, it just rolls over into the next month until you reach that threshold. I think when I first monetized my channel, it took 3 or 4 months for it to add up to meet that minimum. And then the third factor, time. For myself, I work on videos 2 or 3 months in advance sometimes. This video is an outlier that I'm recording it days before it will release, but I already have videos well into January that are ready to go, or at least close, or they need editing or things like that. So I couldn't really compete. I hate to use these words, but it's how I have to say it. If I release a video months after everyone else has jumped on the Orient Express bandwagon, I'm just not going to get the views that they are, being the first videos that go out. For me, it's not really about the views or the ad revenue or anything like that, but my videos are informational first and entertaining second, which is backwards from a lot of other YouTubers. That's why I upload to YouTube. But the more views that those videos get, the more people are being helped in learning something or being inspired to build something. So it is and isn't about the views. And if you aren't aware, LEGO has a program called the LEGO Ambassador Network. This is how YouTubers and influencers are able to get sets early and do reviews on them. They have embargo dates of when those videos can come out. It's usually, I don't know, a week or two after the leaks. So for myself, I'm not really interested in joining the LAN program at this time. You know, for what Lego is to me and my core principles, they just seem to be very different than the Lego group, where they're, you know, canceling things like Mindstorms and being less about education, which is what I grew up with, and more about minifig loot boxes and purchases for gift. If you don't know what I'm talking about collectible minifigures and gift with purchases, which is usually the opposite. You're usually making a purchase that you probably wouldn't normally make to get the gift. So for myself, I'm just not really a fan of these business practices. They're free to do what they want, and I'm sure they make a lot of money from it. But Lego is just something very different to me. And I don't have anything against people that are in the LAN. And there are a few examples of people I think are very honest and share some of the same critiques that we do as Lego fans, and are able to pass that information on to the Lego group, whether it's taken to heart or ignored. One example of this is Blaz from Racing Brick. This is a channel I really enjoy, and full disclosure, I am a bit biased. We actually started our channels within a few months of each other, and I followed him on Twitter in 2017. So I've been able to kind of watch the growth of the channel over all those years. I'm not going to claim to be a super fan that's seen every video, but the videos I have seen seem very genuine, and he's not afraid to point out shortcomings from the Lego group. So he's done 3 videos already on the Orient Express. His review was very good, and then he also has a video on Motorization. So all of the things I'm going to be mentioning will be linked in the description below. And he is trying to hit 200,000 subscribers before Christmas. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Another LAN member that I think is honest and genuine is Alex Nunes. And he recently uploaded a video motorizing the Lego Orient Express using 9-volt motors, which, yes, directly appeals to me. I love 9-volt. So he used a 9-volt motor under the tender of the locomotive and then one under the front passenger car, and it seemed to work pretty well. But there were many trials and tribulations in the video to get to that point. And as far as motorizing the Orient Express, there was a guide posted on Brickset, and the author of that was Train of Thought Lego Creations. So this is his motorized Orient Express running around his Christmas tree, and kudos for using the 4.5 volt train rails. That's pretty cool. He also has some other really great videos on his channel. He's somebody I download his instructions just to scroll through them and look at all the techniques that he's used. It's very inspiring to see. So of course, I haven't followed this guide myself. I haven't picked up the set, but the guide seems to be fairly thorough. And I'm sure in the future there will be many more guides to come, but I can't really give good recommendations without following them myself. So at this time, I don't have any plans to pick it up. I may pick it up in the future if I can find a really good deal on it. But for me, that money will be much more useful going towards Bricklink to buy parts for all the projects I'm already working on. So I hope that answers the question for everyone. I'm flattered that they would reach out and ask, but for myself, I do think there are people that are much more talented in the Lego community to have guides for motorizing things like that, because I really haven't done much with steam locomotives as of yet. So thank you all for watching. Be sure to check out all the creators linked in the description below, and remember to play well. I have to motorize the Polar Express. I have to motorize the Polar Express too? So I don't know.